Thank you so much for joining me for this full-length Pilates Mat Class. My name is Emily. Today we'll be focusing on the lower half of the body, stabilization, contraction, really squeezing everything together. So oftentimes the back of the body can be forgotten, legs, glutes, when we're doing exercises that are strenuous on our core, and we're going to focus on that today. I have a larger exercise ball. If you do not have a larger exercise ball, no problem. A box should work. I've taught similar exercises to clients using a chair. I prefer a folding chair. It's a little shorter than a regular chair in most cases. Make sure it has the 4 legs. If it rolls, it could be a little difficult, so lock it if that's the case. And then also, I have a small squishy ball. It's about 75 to 80% full. We are going to put it under our sacrum for an exercise, so you could roll right off if you do not have a little give on this ball. But to begin class, we're going to begin with some light stretching. So I'm going to place the ball near the end of my mat. I'm going to place the ball between my legs. They're separated a little bit wider than hip distance. Think more of like a spine stretch position for your legs. I have my feet flexed so I can keep the ball in place. From there, I'm going to take my left leg, pull it right up to the top. Place my hands behind me, and I'm going to lift up into a flat back position. I'm not going to press up onto my fingertips. I don't want my shoulders up to my ears. I'm going to press it down onto the palms of my hands. I'm not going to press my back out in a back extension. I'm going to have a tiny slightest tuck in my lower pelvis so that I can contract my abdominals in from hip to hip, drop my belly button towards my spine, wrap my ribs, and lift up. My legs straight on the ball. From there, I'm going to begin to walk my hands in with a flat back. I don't want any rounding. As I walk in, if I need some more stretch on my leg, I'll rise up off the palm of my hands onto my fingers. From there, I can come onto my fingertips, but only if I keep my shoulders in. If my shoulders start to creep like this, come back down to your fingertips and just try to walk your hands into the backs of your hips a little bit further, and you'll still feel a nice stretch. Make sure that you're pulling up on the muscles around your kneecap to keep your knee nice and straight. If it's bent, you're not getting that nice hamstring stretch we're looking for today. Let's do one more nice breath. Walk your hands back. Now, I'm going to take my right hand, my left hand's up on the ball, reach for the outside of my left leg. I'm going to keep my hand behind me, and I'm going to rotate back to look back at the wall. My hips aren't shifting. They're staying completely grounded. I'm rotating from my belly button up, pressing my hand into the mat to grow taller as I look back. Pulling my shoulders up, back, and down on both sides, really squeezing the muscles underneath my arms to keep my shoulders away from my ears. I'm going to come back to center, place my hands back behind me. I'm leaned in a flat back hinge position. I'm going to pull my toes back, pull my foot back. Then I'm going to reach my foot out, the ball of my foot up, leaving my toes pulled back, and then release my toes to a point. Just in a nice articulation of the foot. We're just going to do 10. 3, lift up. Squeezing the muscles underneath our arms, dropping our belly button to the spine. The whole body's working. Good. One more. Okay. Bring a hand up to the ball, other hand up. Bring your foot down, holding onto the ball so it doesn't roll away. Bring your right foot up. Bring your hands behind you and really lift up into a flat back position. Don't arch your back again. We want a straight line from tip of our head to our tailbone. Nice long neck, squeezing under the arms. Begin to walk your hands in. Lift up onto your fingers if you need a little bit more. Pulling your underarms away. Walk your hands in towards your hips a little bit more. Keep your shoulders away from your ears. Let's take 2 more deep breaths. Nice long leg. Stretch out the muscles at the top of your kneecap. Walk your hands back a little bit so you can lift your left hand up, place it on the outside of your right leg, and rotate your body from the belly button up, leaving your hips completely grounded to look to the back of your mat on the right side. Pull up on the muscles and tops of your kneecaps, press into the mat, To press up nice and tall. Wrap your ribs, drop your belly to your spine. One more breath. Release that nice gentle spine twist to the front. Walk back, so you're in a nice flat back hinge again. And we're going to pull our toes back. The rest of our foot, press our foot back, not our toes, to a demi-point, forced arch, high heel position. Point your toes. Keep moving with the articulation. Again, we're squeezing in on the muscles underneath our armpits. Nice long neck, nice wide collarbones, belly to spine, and we're pulling our ribs together so they're not flaring in the front. Good. One more. Excellent. From there, I'm going to leave my foot on top, place my other foot on top, hold on behind my legs, articulate my spine down to the mat. Make whatever adjustments you need to. Rest. For the next exercise, we're going to rest our heel to our mid-calf on the ball. For the next exercise, you may need to adjust a little bit further. We're going to go into the hundreds. But before we do that, let's go ahead and check on our sacrum. With our legs supported, it's going to be easier to find a nice flat sacrum without tucking when we curl up or tilting our pelvis back, going into our low back. Nice flat sacrum is that you're basically tripoded from your tailbone to the backs of the two hip bones. You have a nice curve in your, or lift in your low back to your 12th rib. All your 12 ribs are sinking into the mat. Nice wide shoulders, nice wide collarbone. And now wrap your ribs in the front, and sink your belly button to the spine. Float your hands up to the ceiling, coming out of where your sternum and your 12th rib meet. Turn out your legs to a Pilates V. Wrap your glutes and pull up on the muscles on tops of your kneecaps so your legs are nice and extended. You're grounded through your sacrum, but you're shooting energy out of your toes. You're still wrapping everything. We're still working really hard. We're going to inhale. Exhale to crease over the sternum and to float up gently. Check your sacrum. Is it still flat? And articulate back down. On the exhale. And now, float up. Exhale back down. If you feel your sacrum grounding further as you curl down, you've curled up too far, try curling up halfway, grounding your sacrum, and then trying to curl up an inch further. Drawing our ribs towards our hip, wrapping our ribs. We're going to press down by squeezing our glutes. We're not bouncing our legs on the ball. There'll be a slight bounce, but we don't want our legs to move. We're just pumping our arms to the shoulder sockets. So we're going to inhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, and exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5. One continuous long inhale, and then a long continuous exhale like you're fogging a mirror. So, if you find this is too strenuous on your neck, place one hand behind your head for a couple 10 counts, and then place the other hand behind your head for a couple 10 counts. Inhale. If that doesn't help you out either, go ahead and rest your head, neck, and shoulders and continue pumping. Squeeze your inner thighs. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5. From there, we're going to curl down onto the mat. I'm going to scoot down just a little bit. But I'm going to adjust my legs so they're still resting on the same place on the ball. Actually, I'm going to pull down on my ball just a little bit so I have more of my back of my ankle on here. If you're up too high, it'll be too difficult to do the roll-up that we're about to do. Again, our hands are coming up out of our sternum and our 12th, and we're going to inhale. Exhale to curl up. Biceps by your ears as we fold over our legs. It's difficult to maintain the balance on the ball, for sure, right? Inhale, pull back. Reaching your arms long. When they get down to where they started from the sternum and 12th rib, leave them there and float them up. Now, similarly, when you float, you don't want to swing your arms down. You want to leave them at this spot in space until you need to bring them up to your ears. So, reach, 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 reach. They're still reaching out of my sternum and my 12th rib. As I start to fold over, though, in my C-shaped curve, my biceps float up by my ears. I'm going to pull back, pull my shoulders down. Now they're coming out of where my sternum and my 12th rib meet. So, we've dropped all momentum. We're getting in a nice stretch, and it's more difficult to curl up. find it is too difficult with the exercise ball, you can gently place your fingers behind your legs as you come up or to the sides to walk it up. Please don't bend your knees and grab your legs. Try to make this as difficult as you can. If you find that you still can't make it up, go ahead and try it with your squishy ball underneath your ankles. We're still going, guys. Make sure you're not swinging your arms. Drop your sternum down and then exhale your arms up to the ceiling. When your sternum starts to peel off, exhale, reaching over. I have a nice C-shaped curve from the tip top of my head out through my tailbone. Lots of stuff, lots of exercises today. Keeping the same shape of our spine. Let's do 2 more. Try to not let your legs float off the ball. That's an indication that you need to use more lower abdominals because your hip flexors are taking over. Mine certainly do a little bit as well. There's nothing wrong with that, but try not to let the ball get away from you, right? It's always something to strive for. From there, I'm going to adjust again to bring my leg up a little further on the ball. Back to the original position, more in line with the hundreds, where I had my heel to the back of my ankle to mid-calf on the ball. From there, we're going to inhale, exhale to curl up. We're resting our head in our hands. We're interlocking our fingers on the back. Our thumbs are long down our neck, and we're pulling our hands apart. So our shoulder blades are flat and wide on our back. I'm going to float my right foot up and exhale to pull it into tabletop. Press it out and lower it down. Lift my left leg up. Pull into tabletop. Extend and then lower. Float. Curl up deeper. No tucking. Nice stable sacrum because we have our legs resting on the ball. We're making it harder by using one leg, but that's it, right? Good. Keep breathing. And extend and lower. Now, we're going to do one more set just like this. And then we're going to do the last half of the exercises, adding in the arms for the single leg stretch if you like. Curl up deeper, don't lose that curl up. Rest your head in your hands, making your abdominals hold up your head. So, we're going to reach our hands out long. And my left hand's going to go on the side of my right knee. My right hand's going to go on the outside of my right ankle. I'm going to extend and lower. I'm going to leave my hands right here along by my side until I float my left leg up and pull it in. Right hand on the inside of my left leg, left hand on the outside of my right ankle. I'm not grabbing, I'm pulling in. I have C3PO hands and extend. And I lift and I tap my hands on my leg. I extend and I lower. Lift and tap. By not grabbing our leg, we're not giving our abdominals any breaks. We're forcing our abdominals to maintain the contraction for the entire exercise. Good. One more. Good. From there, we're going to rest our head, neck, and shoulders. And we're inhale, exhale to curl up, reaching our hands long. We're going to inhale to pull the ball in with our lower abdominals, so our legs are tabling, and then squeeze it out and pull it in. I'm using my hamstrings and my lower abdominals. I'm not tucking my tailbone. I'm keeping the same contraction in my lower abdominals. And now we're going to add our arms. We're going to press back, reaching our biceps by our ears, not losing the contraction. Bring our arms to the and exhale it back in. Inhale. Again, we're not grabbing our legs on this double leg stretch because we're forcing our abdominals to maintain the contraction the entire time. And let's do one more. Press your legs out. Rest your head, neck, and shoulders. One more exercise with the ball under our legs, and then we're going to move on to a nice sitting exercise for spine stretch. And this feels really great with the ball, guys. So we're going to place our head in our hands. We're going to hook our fingers together, interlace them, thumbs long down our neck. We're going to pull our fingers apart, but we pull our shoulder blades down for a nice long neck. Inhale, exhale to curl up. Now I'm going to float my left leg up, draw it into tabletop, rotate
making sure that my sacrum is heavy and I'm not floating off that right hip. I'm gonna come back to center, extend my leg and lower it. Lift my right leg, bend it to tabletop. Rotate towards my right leg with my underarm, not my elbow. So I'm not drawing my elbow in, I'm leaving it nice and wide. Come back to center, extend my right leg and lower. Left leg, rotate. Extend and lower. And draw it in. And rotate from there. Now, the most important part from here after you get your sacrum is don't lose your curl up. You're keeping the same level of curl up the whole time. You're just rotating it from side to side. So you should be bobbing up and down in your curl up. Now, we're going to make this a little bit more challenging. Where as we draw our leg up and over, we're going to rotate at the same time. And then we're going to press it out. This is difficult to keep a stable sacrum. If you find that this is not what you're into today, or you're having trouble with rotation and the balance, continue on with the first variation of the exercise. Keep breathing. Pull up a little deeper for the final two. Rotate and down, and rotate and down. Rest your head, neck, and shoulders. Place your feet on either side of the ball, trying to hold on to it. Fingertips up to the ceiling, coming out of your shoulder and sternum. We're not swinging our arms up, remember? They're permanent fixture coming right up out of our sternum and 12th rib. I have my legs, like we talked about at the beginning of class in the stretch, they're a little bit wider, well they're a lot wider than hip width because the ball is, I'm accommodating the ball size. It depends on your hips. Don't allow your feet to hang off your mat though. Make sure that you're able to accommodate your ball. Your ball should be able to touch the ground because we want to press it through our legs, but we want our feet tight enough that when we pull it back, our ball doesn't roll off. So, I'm going to come straight up to sitting. Adjust whatever you need to sit right up on your sits bones. If you need to pop your legs slightly because you have tight hamstrings, feel free. If you want to sit on a wedge or roll up a blanket to sit on a wedge to elevate, that would be even better so you can pull up on the muscles on the tops of your kneecaps. So we're really working those out, guys. We're going to place our hands on the ball in sort of like a diamond position. So we place our hands on the ball in the diamond position. We're going to inhale, creasing at our sternum, looking down between our legs. Exhale to press the ball forward. Trotting back on our lower abdominals, staying in a C-shaped grip. Inhale to pull back, so we're creased over our sternum again, and then exhale to come up to sitting. Inhale, crease over the sternum, really wrapping our ribs here. We're really able to use the support of the ball to find a really great contraction here on our core. So as we do it this time, we're going to think of pressing down, engaging underneath our arms, wrapping our ribs, drawing our belly to our spine to work out a little bit harder. So shoulders away from your ears. Let's try, now that we have all the different parts going, let's try the 2 count spine stretch. We're going to press down. We're going to inhale to crease over the sternum, press the ball through our legs, and exhale to pull it back. And then unwind or stack our spine on top of your shoulder, come up to sitting tall. I'm not straightening my arms to press it out. So I'm not allowing my shoulders to round in. I'm keeping the same diamond shape the entire time. And one more. You're feeling the stretch in your spine by drawing your belly button in and drawing your ribs to your hips. That was a really great job, guys. Go ahead and shake out your legs ever so slightly. We're going to place the ball to the side. Hopefully it doesn't roll off too far. Ooh, there we go. We're going to go on overlay rocker. For those of us who have tight hamstrings, I have a modification. For those of us with osteopenia, osteoporosis, neck problems, or low back problems, we're going to do the modification for the exercise, or the prepper for the exercise that we're about to do for the entire time. So I'm going to scoot forward, bringing my heels to my booty at the front of my mat. I'm going to go ahead and place my hands above my ankles on my shin. I'm not grabbing my ankles, right here. Now, if I have tight hamstrings, I'm going to take my hands behind my legs, widening my shoulders, dropping them up, back and down. Same sensation that I had when I was holding my head in my hands, pulling my shoulder blades apart and pulling down underneath my arms to widen my collarbones, pull my shoulder blades down my back. Hamstrings, we're going to go right here, bringing our legs to tabletop. Everyone else, we're going to draw our right leg up. We're balancing here. So draw your feet off the mat. We're going to tuck our tailbone to stay here, drawing our ribs towards our hips. Really drawing in our lower abdominals, dropping our belly button to our spine. We're pulling down on our legs as we lift up. Now, as I pull down on my leg, as my leg lifts away and shoots energy out of the toe, I'm going to feel it underneath my armpit, engaging there. So I'm really stabilizing. Try both legs. Still floating your toes. On this next one, I'm going to go ahead and adjust because I can't roll that way, right? I'm going to stay up at the top. I'm trying to keep my shins and legs in line with my shoulders. I'm going to inhale by tucking my tail, rolling back to my shoulder blades, and then exhaling. Woo, sometimes we don't make it, right? Maintain that same C-shaped curve the whole time. Inhale back. Nice long neck. Again, I'm keeping the same C-shaped curve from the tip of my head all the way up to my tailbone. Shoot energy up out of your legs the entire time. Let's do 2 more. Let's do 1 more. Go ahead and hold it here. Hold, 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 hold. Drop your feet down. Scoot it back. Press your feet forward. Separate them hip distance. We're going to go into neck pull. Now, for those of us who have a tendency to use momentum to come up, we're going to come right here. I feel like that's most everybody, right? We really don't want to round in on our shoulder blades right now. We really want to keep that nice wide open feeling so we can really focus our workout on the bottom half of our body and the grounding that we're about to do. So, instead of placing our head in our hands like this and winging in on our elbows to come up, let's take our fingertips, touch the center fingertips, bring it right to about where our third eye would be, right in the middle of our forehead, palms away from each other. C3PO hands again. Flex your feet. Feet separated slightly. From here, we're going to draw down on our shoulder blades. We're going to hinge back with a flat back, drawing our ribs together. As soon as we start to feel our feet getting light, or even before, we're going to tuck our tail, articulate down to the mat. Inhale, rounding up and over in a C-shaped curve, folding over our legs. From there, we're going to come up into a flat back hinge, straight line from our tailbone through our head. We're going to have our tip top of our head reaching forward along the ceiling meat. Stack our spine straight up. Continue back in a flat back. Tuck your tail. Roll back. Round over our legs. Come up into a flat back hinge. Come up to sitting and continue with your flat back. Tuck your tail. Roll back. Round over our legs. Exhale up to a flat back hinge. Come straight up to sitting. Now, for those of us who are having trouble getting up, variation. Tuck your tail, roll back. Keeping your hands here for as long as you can. Reach your hands down by the sides of your legs. Walk your fingers up. Replace your hands, just like we did on the ball for roll-up at the beginning. Come up to a hinge, and up. Articulate back. I'll show that one more time. Tuck your tail, roll back. And then I'm going to, I have the sides of my legs. I didn't bend my legs. I did not grab onto them for dear life and round in over my shoulders. If you need to, please place a wedge or a towel underneath your booty to get that release in your hamstrings. If that's not working, bend your knees, of course, but please try not to bend your knees too much or grab onto them to come up. Let's do 2 more. Inhale, pull down on your elbows, wrap your wrists, draw your belly down your hips, drop your belly to really support the coming up. This is a harder variation of roll up on this part, guys, because you don't have the option to use your arms as momentum. But we tried to get rid of that anyways, didn't we? And go ahead and come back up to sitting and release your hands. Great job, guys. That was wonderful. From there, we're going to come back into the position that we were using for spine twist. Our feet are gonna be a little bit wider. The ball's gonna be down there, but we're not gonna have our feet separated so far that the ball's gonna roll away from us. We're gonna press down as if we're pressing down on 2 exercise balls to either side of us. Sit up straight and tall. Again, towel underneath your boot if you need it. Pull up on the muscles. Your arms shouldn't be straight to the side. They should be an inch or 2 in front of you. Rotate to the side. Place your hand on the ball. Flip your back palm to the ceiling and come down into thaw. Really getting that nice C-shaped curve. Don't rotate off your back hip. Articulate back up. Come back through center. Rotate to the other side. Place your hand on the ball. Flip your back palm and dive down. And act like you're reaching to soft your toe. Bring your bicep by your ear. When you come back up all the way, then you rotate. Rotate to the other side and dive. Come all the way back up to sitting. Come through the center and dive. This movement's coming from the belly button above and above. Your hips should not be rocking and rolling. As you come through center, feel yourself growing taller. Through center, and dive, and up. Through center again. Go ahead and take the ball. Shake out your legs really fast. We're going to be doing a glute exercise. I'm going to do it to the angle so that you can see what I'm doing. I have my legs separated very slightly because my heels are underneath my sits bones. Without moving the ball, just go ahead and place it in front of your knees. Place your hands on it. Don't lean in towards it. If you're having trouble leaning in towards your ball, just place it off to the side where it's not going to roll away. But if you can, great. Roll your shoulders up, back, and down. Squeeze your glutes. Go ahead and activate them. Belly to spine, wrap your ribs. Your shoulders are going to stay over your hips the whole time. You're going to squeeze it up and lower it back down. Try not to hinge. Shh. Hold on to the ball and up and down. If you have a mirror, see if you can tell if your shoulders are over your hips or not. Mine were not on that last one. My shoulders are over my hips are over my knees. I'm going to lower, I'm going to do one more. From there, I'm going to add the arms. I'm going to squeeze it up and lift. This is a challenge. My backs, my legs might want to float up. Squeeze your glutes more and lower everything back down with control. It's not a heavy weight, but the extra load does make it more difficult. Keep it going. Keep breathing. Excellent, guys. Let's do one more. We're just activating our glutes here. And down. For the next set of exercises, they are going to be glute heavy. So, if they're going to be glute heavy, and we are going to be on our knees. So, these are sideline legs. You can do the sideline leg without the ball. You can try a towel underneath your knee. You can roll up your mat and place it under your knee and see if that helps. If not, come to sideline legs with your arm tucked like a pillow. Otherwise, I'm going to gently, carefully come onto my side. I'm on my knee, kind of like sideline legs, but I'm at an angle. So I'm rotating my fingers to the end of the mat, and I'm squeezing in on the ball by pulling down on my shoulder blade, engaging underneath my arm. My head is in my hand. I'm in a straight line from my head, down to my toes, hopefully. I have a little lift because I'm not tall enough. But we are really squeezing it. We're not sinking into our ball though, guys. We want to think of lifting up and off, engaging the underneath muscles just like we would on the mat. Stack your hips, belly up and in, wrap your ribs. Lift your leg up, hopefully to hip height. Float it forward and flex it and pull it back. You will not be able to go as far as you would be able to on the floor because the ball destabilizes you. Try to keep your foot in perfect parallel. Mine wants to turn out. Good. Nice long neck. Wrap your ribs. Good. And here's 9. Woo! And let's do one more. And 10. Bring your foot back to center and lower it down and lift it up by squeezing on the outside glute muscles. Don't allow your hips to shift front or back. Just go as far as you can down without shifting them and lift them up. If this is as far as you can go, and that's as far, that's perfect. Stay within the limits of your own body. After you're done checking on your hips, go ahead and lift your hand up behind your head and lift. Now keeping your legs shooting up straight at your hips. 10 small circles moving from the glutes in each direction. 2, 3, 4, 5. If you're rocking too much on the ball, try making your circle smaller. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Lower your leg. Come down. Hold the ball back a little bit from the end of your mat, especially if you are up on a raised mat. You might knock into it on this next exercise. I'm going to place the ball underneath my belly button, and I'm going to press out. Bringing the ball, I don't want to get that close, underneath my sacrum, or my pelvis area. I want to be in a straight line from the tip of my head to my toes. So instead of having straight arms, I'm going to bend my elbows slightly, bringing them back towards my hips or towards the ball, drawing down on the muscles underneath my arm to pull my shoulders long away from my ears. From there, I'm going to draw my belly up in it, wrap my ribs, squeeze my glutes to lift my right leg, and lower. Squeeze left. If you feel yourself rocking heavily on the ball, try to work only the glutes and inner thigh. Good. And now a little faster, but no rocking. Belly up and in. Wrap your ribs so you're not swinging out. You're going to be a straight line. Good. And now leave the right leg up and pulse 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And squeeze up to the left leg. We're not lowering our leg. We still have a nice squeeze on. We're going to pulse up for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Bring your legs back together. From there, we're going to do tricep push-ups. So bend your elbows, allowing your body to rock forward as if in swan dive, and press back up with your triceps. It takes a lot of latissimus dorsi, or lat muscles. So we're going to pull our shoulders away from our ears the whole time, and lift. We're still in a straight line. Our belly button's still towards our spine. These are more pleasant push-ups, in my opinion. Inhale, and exhale. Flex your feet if your calves need a break. Mine certainly do. I've been pointing too much. 9. 1 more. 10. Go ahead and press back and round over the ball with your knees bent. If you have hip replacement issues, please stop with your legs at 90 degrees and round over the ball. This feels great too, guys. But if you'd like to, you can press back a little bit as well. So, now what you can do is you can just rotate to the other side for your sideline legs. I'm going to move my ball so I can continue to face the front. So again, I'm going to press up and over the ball. I'm going to find the perfect position. I wish I was more graceful about it. Unfortunately, I have not found a way to be super graceful coming over the ball, exercise ball for these side legs. Whew. Sorry, it's on my seam on my mat. I do have my fingertips pointing to the end. I am squeezing in. While I'm squeezing in, I'm working my tricep. I'm squeezing in on the ball, making sure it stays there. Squeezing the underneath muscles. And trying to lift up out of the mat. Again, roll up your mat, place it under your knee. Put a towel under your knee. Still squeeze my glutes to press my hips forward, so we're still working, guys. We can come down to just lying on our sides with our arm tucked back like a pillow. Head in your hand, lift your leg up. Float it forward, flex to pull back. Squeeze your glutes. The muscle that you're squeezing is the same glute muscle that will squeeze when you're doing the small circles. So if you place your hands right where your glute or booty and your thigh meet, you should feel this muscle squeezing or contracting. Good. Abdominals up and in. Wrap your ribs. Woo! Here's 9. And here's 10. Come back to center, point your foot, lower, and lift. There should be no squishing of your ball. You're simply stretching out, lengthening out of your leg, reaching for the end of the mat. Good. Here's 9. And here is 10. Leaving our leg coming up, shooting energy out of our chest. We're gonna circle 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Reverse, again, you shouldn't be rocking and rolling on your ball. It should be movement from your glute muscle, glute and thigh muscle. Go ahead and lower your leg. Whew. Real fast, we're gonna go ahead and do some work with our squishy ball to change it up a little bit. This is only one of the 2 exercises with the squishy ball. If you don't have a squishy ball, a small hard pillow would work. Or you could take a pillow and fold it over in half. Not a bed pillow, more like a throw pillow. Okay guys, so we're gonna place the ball between our thighs, right below our knees. So we're not squeezing the ball with our knees. I'm squeezing the ball with my thighs. It will float our legs up off the mat slightly. We are gonna maintain that engagement where we're shooting energy out of our legs the whole time. So we're gonna go ahead and come down, reach our fingertips up out of our sternum. Again, keeping our arms in the same place in space. We're going, so we're not using momentum. We're gonna inhale and exhale to reach up and float our legs up. Roll your shoulders up, back, and down. Widen your collarbones, flip your hands up to the ceiling. Squeezing on the ball. Work those lower abdominals. Tuck your tail. When you start to hit your sacrum and start to articulate down, bring your legs back down to the mat. Don't collapse them though. We have the ball between our legs. So we're still shooting a lot of energy out of our legs. From there, we're going to inhale. Exhale. Float it up to a teaser position. Really reach it up. From there, I'm going to rotate my right foot higher, my left foot lower. Squishing the ball and really rotating our legs, one higher, one lower, while we're maintaining control of the ball. Good. Here's 9. Whoop. And here's 10. And we tuck our tail. When our sacrum hits, we can begin to lower our legs, head, neck, and shoulders. Guys, one more. Inhale, shoot energy out of your legs. Exhale. Float it up, 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 up. Lower your feet an inch. Lower abs lifted an inch. Lower an inch. Your upper body should move. Tuck your tail. And then lower. Lower, 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 lower. Good job, guys. We're going to go ahead and remove our squishy ball. I've lost track of the class. Here we go. We're going to be doing a tabletop exercise on our back with the exercise ball. So from there, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to squat sort of in front of my exercise ball. My net's very slippery, or it's too slippery for this, and my exercise ball will go right away from me. So I'm going to come to a position where my shoulder blades, the ball's between the bottom tips of my shoulder blades, so I can curl up. Squeeze my glutes and lift. Lower down to the ball. My booty's not touching because of my height. If you do because you're tall enough or because your ball's smaller, it's great. And squeeze and lift. And one more. Now from there, I'm going to try to maintain my curl up. I'm going to lower my hands to touch the floor. I don't have my mat's too high, right? This way I move my mat closer to my Cadillac so that I could reach out and grab it. I'm going to walk my feet in a little bit. I'm going to need more inner thigh and glute control. I'm going to march my right leg up and lower it down. And I flip my left leg up and lower. We're just marching. If it becomes too much in your head, neck, or shoulders, keep one hand down, place one hand behind your head. That certainly feels good. I think we should all do it. Then place your other hand down. Place your other hand behind your head. Let's do one more to each side. Good. From there, we're going to lower our glutes. Roll forward so we're coming down to sitting. Still holding our head in our hands. We're going to rest back. And a nice supported back extension over the ball. If you'd like, release your arms down to your side. Float your hands up over your head. Don't allow them to flip past your ears. We still want to keep a nice rib control. Open your arms wide to the side. Float your hands down to your hips. Arm circles. Up to the ears, to the sides, and lower. Let's go ahead and reverse. Up to the side, and lift, and lower, and out. To the side, lift, and lower. One more. Holding on gently behind the backs of your knees. Roll your chin to your chest. Come up to sitting. Go ahead and find your ball. Guys, we are going to go ahead and do, it's going to sort of be legs and straps, but without the legs and straps, so not nearly as comfortable, let's say, as legs and straps. So we're going to go ahead and drop our ball to the side. We're going to keep track of it because we are going to be using it for the last exercise. This is the second to last exercise of class, guys. From here, we're going to lower down, tuck our tail, lift up, placing our sacrum on the ball. Right side down, square in the middle of my sacrum. I don't want to be tucking. I want to be resting on top. I want to wrap my wrists, pull my shoulder blades nice and long. I'm going to wrap my hands underneath. I'm going to pull my knees into my chest. I'm going to let my right leg in. I'm going to extend my left leg long, completely straight. The straighter it is, the more of a stretch you'll get across your hip flexor. If you're comfortable, you can go ahead and pull your knee into your chest. But you shouldn't be tucking up to do that. You should still have a flat sacrum. If you have hip issues, only come to a 90-degree position. You might still want to hold under the ball. It is hard to maintain that position. So from there, I'm going to switch legs, extending my right leg super long, pulling my left leg in. Again, hip replacement issues, come to 90 degrees. Keep your hands on the ball though. Otherwise, if you're comfortable, go ahead and hold onto the front of your knee and pull it into your chest. Good. I fibbed, guys. We still have to do some shoulder bridging after this before our last exercise. No big deal though, right? So, from there, I'm going to hold onto my ball again, bring my legs into tabletop, bring my legs up to the ceiling, and I'm going to extend my left leg long, so I'm getting a nice stretch. I'm not going to rock and roll on my ball. If I am, it means that my single leg circles are too large. So keep your single leg circles the size of your small squishy ball, and inhale across, and exhale back up. In this position, it takes a lot of box to the body control to maintain stability. I'm really wrapping my ribs. I'm really drawing my belly to my spine. I'm really pulling my shoulder blades down my back. I'm already shaking. Stretch your leg out long by pulling on the muscles on the top of your left knee. Now, stay up at the top and reverse. As you exhale, drop your belly to the spine. After you've watched me a few times, go ahead and look straight up at the ceiling again so that you're not cranking at your neck. Good. One more. Now, leaving your right leg at the top. Inhale, exhale, float your left leg up. Inhale, exhale, float your right leg down, stretching long out of your, shooting energy out through your toes, grounding through your sacrum, pulling up on the muscles on the tops of your kneecaps. Inhale across, and exhale back up. Again, keep your circles about the size of your exercise ball, the size of your squishy ball, not the big exercise ball. You'll fall right off this little guy. One more in this direction. Make sure you're not popping your ribs here. It's easy to do. Inhale. If you feel your leg going to the outside, try to draw it to the center. Make your circles a little bit smaller. Here's 4. 5. And 6. Keeping your left leg at the top, bring your right leg up. Now, switch your legs, stretching your left leg long to stretch out the hip. And bring it up, and stretch your right leg down. And float it back up with your abdominals. If you're swinging your leg up, now flex. If you're swinging your legs up and down, you're using your hip flexor. While your foot is flexed, try to shoot energy out of your heel and use the back of your leg to float your leg down and up. exhale, feel your lower abdominals from hip to hip deflate. It should feel almost as if you have an empty bowl resting between your hips. Here's 6. And one more. Now leaving your feet flexed, turn them out into Pilates feet. Don't tuck your tail, guys. Remember, our sacrum's flat. It's as if our legs are shooting up as a post into the ceiling. We're gonna lower 1, 2, 3. Pull them into tabletop and parallel. And extend to the ceiling and turn out flex and Pilates feet. Drop 1, 2, 3. Drop your belly to your spine. Bring it into parallel, into tabletop, and then extend. Turn out into a Pilates feet flex and drop 1, 2, 3. Parallel, into tabletop, and lift. Turn out flex Pilates feet. 1, 2, 3, and parallel, tabletop. Flex Pilates feet, drop 1, 2, 3. Wrap your ribs, don't let them float off. 1 more in this direction. 1, 2, 3. Shoot energy out of your heels, but ground through your sacrum. Now, extend your legs, turn out to Pilates feet and flex and lift. 1, 2, 3. Point and turn in to parallel, draw into tabletop and extend. Flex, turn out to Pilates feet and bring up. 1, 2, 3. Point, parallel, tabletop. Extend, flex, Pilates feet and up. 2, 3. Parallel point, tabletop. Extend, flex V. 1, 2, 3. When you're extending your legs, rotate from the femur and the hip socket, squeezing your glutes. 1 more. Press out by drawing on your lower abdominals to protect your low back. 1, 2, 3. Good. Now, bring your feet to up Pilates V at the top. We're going to do tiny double leg circles, no wider than our mat because we're thrown off balance on top of our squishy ball. Let's adjust. Bring your sacrum square back on top of your squishy ball. Separate your legs the width of the mat. Draw down your lower abdominals now, letting your ribs flare. Bring it down, bring it back to Pilates feet. Turn it parallel to float it back up through center. Pilates feet, width of the mat, down, squeeze together, parallel to draw through center with your lower abdominals. Inhale. Exhale to float it back up. Inhale. 2 more in this direction. You should not feel your back leave the mat at any point or sink into the mat more at any point during this exercise. It should stay in the same position the whole time and lower. Turn it up, separate width of the mat, float your legs up, squeeze, parallel. Parallel down through center, belly up and in. Here's 3. I'm going to last count there. And 4. Really draw your ribs together. Next, we're going to do one of my favorite exercises. It's a little difficult to teach, well, for me. And so, keeping our feet together up at the top, we're going to scissor, just a little scissor, right leg towards your nose, left leg away, left leg towards your nose, right leg away. Now we're going to helicopter our legs. So we're going to do a half circle, opposite in each direction, bringing the opposite leg to the top or the bottom. And then I'm going to bring my left leg up towards my nose, my right leg up towards my nose. I'm going to helicopter my legs. Now my left leg's up towards my nose. And right leg to nose, left leg to nose. And switch. When you do this, you should be balancing on your ball. So we're going to switch, switch, and rotate. And switch, switch, and rotate. Switch, switch, and rotate. Switch, switch, and rotate. Draw your knees into tabletop. One more time. We're going to do the hip stretch exercise. If you have hip flexor issues, just go ahead and come right here with your leg at 90 degrees. Otherwise, feel free to pull your knee into your chest. Pull up on the muscles. If you bend your leg, you're not getting that hip flexor stretch. You really have to pull up on those muscles. You're still working your leg. You're still shooting energy out of your toe. Switch your legs and pull that leg in to your chest. I'm getting a nice side hip stretch, glute stretch as well. Good. Now from here, we're just going to go ahead and pull our squishy ball out, put it to the side. I'm gonna walk my heels into my glutes. I would like for my legs to be squeezed together, but my heels should be no wider than my sits bones underneath my booty. I'm gonna roll my shoulders up, back, and down, so I'm nice and wide. I'm gonna invert my spine, tuck my tail, and articulate up to that bridge exercise we're talking about. My ribs are wrapped. I'm squeezing my glutes. I'm looking for a straight line from my knee to my hips to my underarms. Try to lift your head. If you can't lift your head, you're too far on your neck. So come down just a little bit and then squeeze your glutes more. Articulate your spine down. And bring your spine. Really feeling each vertebra lift off the mat. Now, feel your grow taller. Feel your spine growing longer, I should say, as you try to place your tailbone down on your heels. And tuck your tail and lift. Good. Now while we're here, we're gonna lift our right leg up. Make sure your hips are still even. Lower the flexed foot, so your knee to knee, thigh to thigh, and point it up. If you drop any lower than that, the tendency is to drop your hip. And that's not what we're looking for. We're looking for contraction in the glutes. Bend your knee, bring it down. Squeeze your glutes so they're on the same level again. Bring your other leg up. Flex, thigh to thigh, knee to knee, and lift. And thigh to thigh, knee to knee. One more. Bend your knee in and lower it down. Articulate your spine down. Trying to sit on your heels. One more variation of shoulder bridge. Instead of articulating up, we're going to squeeze and lift everything up to bridge at the same time. So we're going to inhale, exhale, lift. No articulation, just a flat back lift. Go ahead and take a look, make sure that everything's lined up. Remember, knee to hip, hip to underarm, and lower. And lift, and lower. On this next one, we're going to stay up there, and we're going to lift our right foot up to the ceiling. We're going to pulse our hips up. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Squeeze it on your inner thigh. 9, 10. Bend your knee to tabletop. Rest it down. Squeeze your glutes up. Lift your other leg up. Check on your hips. Make sure that even and pulse up. 2, 3, 4. Press into your arms. Bend your knee to tabletop. Rest your foot down. Drop everything so your entire spine hits from tailbone to shoulders at the same time. Now that your shoulders lifted off. Okay, great guys. We're gonna rock up to sitting. We're gonna find our ball. This is a kneeling exercise, but if you have knee problems and you're not comfortable with something underneath your knees, please feel free to do this sitting down. Otherwise, we're going to squeeze our glutes to press our hips forward. We're going to side bend, pressing into our ball, pulling our shoulder away from our ears, and coming up. Again, my hips are separated. I'm squeezing my glutes to press my hips forward, just like on that lower lift exercise we did. Let's do one more. And now let's get a counter stretch. Going the opposite direction. Sorry, I'm out of the frame, guys. We're going to go ahead and go to the other side. Go ahead and do this on the floor for you. I'm going to stretch over, reaching over. Adjustment, and up. I'm going to reach up and over. Draw my abdominals up and in, stacking my shoulders over my hips, over my knees. I'm pressing into my ball to engage under my arms. I have a slight bend in my working arm so that I'm not putting too much pressure on it. I'm going to rotate in the other direction. Good. From there, I'm going to come to a seated position where I'm comfortable. I'm going to take an inhale, reach my arms out to the sun, wrapping my ribs, draw my abdominals up and in. And exhale back down. Thank you so much for joining me, guys. I hope that you have a great day. If there are any questions, please feel free to contact me, and I'll get back to you right away. Thank you.